In this video, we are going to discuss one of the most honed blades of the Draconis Combine. Perhaps one of the most dangerous light mechs, and some would argue the most dangerous light mech of the Succession War era. Many of the Combine's victories may be laid at the feet of this incredibly important walking vehicle. A domestic production of the Draconis Combine, and not one of the Star Leagues. Today we are going to talk about Diplan Mechyards. Jenner. A light mech weighing in at 35 tons, the Jenner is a product of the First Succession War more than the Star League era, coming into production in 2784, only 2 years before the official beginning of the First Succession War. Envisioned as being as fast as possible, and hitting as hard as possible, it fills the ideal weight bracket for this to take place, and is a daring design for a daring pilot, as its design is entirely meant to participate in short-range battles where speed and maneuverability are life and death. It's also important to note that the people of the Combine are quite proud of this domestically produced, highly successful Battlemech, viewing it as a point of national pride, in fact, that they not only produce a vehicle of this quality, but that it fights to protect them from outside threats. Common in the Combine and rare everywhere else, this lethal machine's true quality is felt by their enemies, starting with the Lyran Commonwealth and Federated Sons, and then later by the clans. The Jenner's reputation as a light hunter, and that of a dangerous scout mech can bring down heavies if left unaddressed, is not undeserved. The primary model of the Jenner built during the Succession Wars was the JR7-D, and it would continue production until new technologies allowed for refits. It is served well by a Magna 245 standard engine, giving the Jenner a more than impressive maximum speed of 118 km per hour, or 11 movement points on the tabletop game. It also has an impressive jump capability of 150 meters, allowing it to leap from danger if necessary. Speed is the deadliest weapon for the Jenner, propelling its well-armed frame up the field to deliver a deadly array of laser blasts and missiles into its target. But these would be nothing without its true weapon, which of course is the 245 standard engine. For heat sinks, the Jenner is not lucky, with only 10 standard heat sinks. Jenner pilots will be seeing their mechs running at higher temperatures during serious engagements due to really needing to keep their damage output high, but having limited ability to keep their heat low. For offensive weapons, the JR7-D comes with 5 systems overall, and they are indeed quite deadly for its weight. For starters, it has 4 Agra 3L medium lasers, giving it hard striking ability in close, as well as the ability to peel back armor quite easily. Firing all 4 of these will result in it overheating, though not excessively, unless it uses its jump jets or fires its missiles as well. Speaking of missiles, it has a Thunderstroke SRM-4 launcher, giving it a chance to fire a scatter of missiles in hopes of finding weak spots in the enemy target, or to knock out vital systems or even disable that target. Finally, for physical protection, the Jenner reveals its true weakness. It is only defended by 4 tons of armor, making it under-armored for its class and weight. Though this may be similar to what one sees in mechs such as the Commando, the Jenner is 15 tons heavier, and more expensive to produce as well. This leaves it entirely dependent on speed to survive, which thankfully it does have in spades. The JR7-D is one of the best light mechs of the Succession Wars, regardless of its shortcomings in heat or armor. It has the firepower to shred another light mech or open up the rear armor of a heavy mech, meaning it cannot be ignored. It's fast enough to potentially be almost impossible to hit at medium or long ranges, and unlikely to be hit in close, and with just enough jump ability as to still give it a good movement bonus as well. While it is far from unstoppable, it is a strategic and tactical weapon which can twist campaigns or battles in favor of commanders or pilots, and cannot be discounted from almost any situation it appears in, as it chases down other lights or tears them into pieces. There is a reason why this mech is considered a national treasure by the Draconis Combine, and it's not because it doesn't get the job done. It is because they put the fear of the dragon into the hearts of their enemies. But the Jenner doesn't exist in limbo. It is not a timeless mech, or at least a configuration. It does have variants from multiple eras. To follow up the original design, we are going to cover 3 of those. The JR7-F was brought into production in an attempt to rectify some of the issues with the Jenner during the Succession Wars, ironically removing its SRM-4 launcher as a result. This was done to reduce heat output, but also to remove the explosive ammunition on board from the mech. What it replaced it with was 3 tons of additional armor. This has a problem of its own in some respects as a result, such as having no torso-centric weapons, meaning that should it lose its arms, it would devolve into only being able to kick its adversaries. But it is a trade-off many are willing to make for more durability and with less incentive for overheating. Introduced during the clan invasion, the JR7-K is a terrible upgrade package. It changes almost nothing about the unit beyond giving it ferrofibrous armor, removing a half ton of weight, and then introducing a case for its ammunition. We won't be wasting any more time discussing this, but this is one of the least functional Star League era upgrades of the 3050 era. It has a side upgrade named the JR7-C, which has a C3 slave unit and removes 1 medium laser, but otherwise is the same. But at least this can change its role from an active combatant to a spotter. Finally, in the latest era of warfare, there is the JR7-N, which attempts to update the original design as much as possible. It has heavy ferrofibrous armor to help keep the unit alive, trying to rectify its traditionally poor survivability when actually hit, though the trade-off for this is that it does use an XL engine. Its jumping ability is vastly improved up to 210 meters, giving it extremely high mobility. Equipped with 4 ER medium lasers and an SRM-4, this is an update of the original design's weapon systems. But it has added the benefit of a case 2 to help the unit survive ammunition explosions, as well as possessing a Beagle active probe, allowing it to seek out and destroy targets which may remain hidden from view otherwise. Finally, it has the benefit of having 11 double heat sinks, giving it a sinking ability of 22 and making it very viable to not overheat, barring extreme circumstances or recklessness on behalf of the pilot. The JR7-N is the ultimate upgrade of the Jenner lineup so far. The Jenner is a mech whose strengths come from its speed. It never wants to engage in a frontal confrontation with enemy mechs or forces, if possible, as doing so will expose it to fire, even if that fire may be hindered by its speed, that may result in damage which cannot be ignored, resulting in a decline of the machine's performance. Instead, it always wants to approach from the side or from the rear of its adversaries, or acting as a fast-moving scout when possible in order to avoid incoming fire or act as a distraction for it. Light mech tactics are often chaotic to the outside observer, watching as seemingly erratic movements take place, but when mechs like the Jenner are involved, one will see a beautiful order in that chaos, as they deflect, deceive, and then decapitate their enemies throughout the battle. The only problem for the Jenner is, it might look cool while doing it, but in truth it's really overheating. Thank you for joining me here today. If you enjoyed this content, please consider liking it and subscribing to the channel. There is a YouTube membership program as well to support this channel, and I appreciate everyone who has signed up as a member so far. With that, I will catch all of you in the comments section below.